artists have claimed they are Christian, yet they have chosen to be secular or mainstream artists. Some well known examples are like Whitney Houston, Kanye West, Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child, Katy Perry, Jasmine Sullivan, the list goes on. Even well known gospel singers like Kirk Franklin and Mary Mary have recorded crossover songs with mainstream secular artists, but they themselves are still gospel singers. What is your opinion on why many artists switch over to mainstream music, and what is your opinion on crossover collaboration songs between Christian, gospel, and secular mainstream?
I'll say this because it's a loaded question. I'm glad
Yes, it is.
I'm
You could
already
go into this question for a while.
here. Yeah. I think what is ultimately hurtful is if there's confusion. And if you're a person that's responsible for creating more confusion than you are good, meaning I struggle personally with people who say, they're of a certain faith, and yet they turn around and call women the B word and the H word every other
Yep.
lyric, right? Your mom isn't that. I don't think you believe that of her or your
Right.
sisters, your aunts, or your grandmother. So why are you blanketly calling women, these derogatory terms,
Right.
and you turn around in your acceptance speech on the Grammy stage and say, "I'd like to thank my Lord
Thank
and Savior."
God. Yeah, everyone says that. That's the first one.
It's like, okay, honey, wait, this does not compute. Um, so again, for me, it gets back to being a person of integrity and living the life that you're about. If that's who you are, if your brand and your lifestyle and your experiences and the person that you're portraying and is in the public eye the same as your personal private life, if you're a gangbanger rapper or whatever, right, and that's who you are, I respect you being true to you. But don't then turn around and say, well, I'm gonna do this, and then you know I think that's where people get very confused and frankly a little upset. Like, we don't understand. Like, there's a disconnect. What is happening here? Are you this or are you that? Because you can't be both. Can you be a person that does secular music and still loves the Lord? Absolutely.
Right.
And I don't have a problem with that. Some people do, and they'll
Yeah.
say you have
Some
to choose
people do.
one or the other, right? We know people like Jennifer Hudson, Whitney, grew up in the church. Aretha Franklin,
Yep.
duh, grew up in the church. Her father was
That's why her
pastor,
voice is so soulful.
right? Her father was pastor. Her first music that she recorded was church music, right? No one no one does not know that. No one
Right.
doesn't understand that. And like you said before, some of the best singers in the world are people who are in church every Sunday, or on Zoom every Sunday, right? Um, and that's their grooming. And so some of the best voices that have covered different genres also came from the church. And for me, I think, again, what needs to be at the core of your brand and your integrity is, what are you saying? Because regardless of the genre of music that you're recording or putting out there, you are responsible for the message that you're communicating and putting out in the world. If your message is largely positive, um, then I don't think people should stand in judgment and say, oh, you shouldn't record that type of music. And oh, by the way, get paid to record that type of music if it doesn't say specifically Christian lyrics.
Right.
I don't think it's our place to tell people what their vocation should be, right? Some people have learned that there is money to be made, and depending on the type of deal that they've structured, if they're signed to a label or whatever, if they're fortunate enough to get down a path where they can make a meaningful living at doing what they love to do, then that's their life. I
Right.
can't sit in the seat of judgment and tell them what they should do with their gift and how they should do what they do. Like, that's between them and God. That's not me. I
Right.
can't judge you for that. But what I would encourage people to think about is, what is it that you're putting in the world? What is that message? What are you conveying? Because if you're telling people things that are still uplifting and upbeat and encouraging, right, as opposed to things that are just like a temporary message of nonsense, right, then I don't know that that's responsible. You can look at Whitney's catalog, and most of the songs that she sang, she didn't write herself. But what she chose to record, right, are typically songs that anyone that looks back over time would consider positive, right? And a lot of
Hmm.
them were motivational or inspirational or whatever. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a strength of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Who's going to argue that those are bad
Yeah.
lyrics?
Right.
You can't,
That's
right? And if we're honest with ourselves, people that go to church every week, we would sing along when the song would come on the radio, or we would
yep.
buy the album or whatever. So, let's not be hypocritical is my big thing when it comes to telling people what they should or shouldn't do. We have to examine our own lifestyle. There's things that we should and shouldn't do in our daily walk that we either do appropriately or we don't do because of disobedience or whatever is going on. And it's no different than people that have chosen a particular vocation, right?
Right.
Everyone's got a job to do, and you never know how that person's gift, their voice, or the platform that they have. Because this is what I also see, and this is why I have to be careful with how I answer this question. Some people who have a platform,
Hmm.
they're given that platform because of something we would say, well, that falls in the secular world, right?
Right.
But look at the good that they can do as a result of the platform that they've achieved, and
Correct.
they're doing phenomenal work in the world, or they're giving to causes, and they're helping people both domestically and internationally. And had it not been for the platform that they were able to get on,
Hmm.
then that work wouldn't be done. But they were
Correct.
trusted to do that because I believe God knew that they would carry out a bigger endeavor, which had nothing to do with just the music that they're putting out. So we have to be careful with our judgments and look at things, I think, in a much more comprehensive way.